everyone. Welcome to my channel, Bianca's Skogan Beauty. So glad to have you guys here today. Okay, so today's video I thought would be a really fun, like getting into 2024 and talking about some things that I want to try in 2024. I thought this video would be fun to do brands that I want to try in 2024 because this is fun for me to look back on in the next year to see which brands I actually tried. I did this video, I think I did it in 2022. Because 2023, as some of you might know if you've been watching my channel, was my no buy makeup year. I tried not to buy any makeup, and I pretty much did it. It was, I had some rules where I was allowed to actually buy things with gift cards, and my husband was very supportive and helped me buy some things when I didn't have a gift card for it. So it was a very cathartic year and a very learning and growing year. I had a wish list to try to keep track of my thoughts and to try to remember what all throughout 2023 that I wanted, because I was trying not to buy it in 2023, so that I knew that in 2024 I would still have that wish list, so I could then and now it's 2024 and I'm no longer on a no buy year. I am on a low buy year, so I am now able to buy what I couldn't buy in my 2023. Am I going to buy everything? No. Kind of defeats the purpose of the no buy and the low buy. But I had a lovely subscriber comment on one of my videos that they wanted to see maybe what was still on my wish list. And I was like, well, that's a good idea. So this video will be talking about brands I want to try and things that were still on my wish list from 2023. That sound good? Hopefully it does. If it does, subscribe to this channel. Okay, what is still on my wish list from 2023 that I didn't have my husband buy for me because I swindled him because he loves me? Okay, I have quite a few Blend Bunny palettes on here. So last year I did get the Lure palette for, I think it was for my birthday, or was it for Easter? Or was it for Mother's Day? Those were the main three times I got makeup last year for those main three holidays. So one of those holidays, I was able to, my husband bought me the Lure palette from Blend Bunny. And okay, it definitely wasn't my birthday because my birthday is in August and I took it to Hawaii with me in July. So I think I got it for either Mother's Day or I think it was Mother's Day. Anyways, so I took that palette with me to Hawaii and took pictures with it on the beach. So I love Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and there's quite a few palettes that are still on this list that I want. That was the only thing that I got from Blend Bunny last year. So Blend Bunny does have some discounts throughout the year. They have some sales, but I think they're usually about like 15-20% off. So I'm gonna have to do some investigating and seeing if they do like a 40% off sale, because then I could get all of these. What? Low buy? Okay, so I have on here the Trove palette. Okay, so the Lure palette and the Trove palette came out at the same time. The Lure palette, it is a beautiful mermaid palette, but it doesn't have any multi-chromes. And so in order to keep the price of this palette down, Blend Bunny Cosmetics was like, how about we put some multi-chromes with this collection, but not in this palette, because then it would have raised the price of the palette a lot, because multi-chromes from indie brands are really expensive. So I got this palette, but not the multi-chrome one, which was called Trove. It only had 4 shadows, and it was much more expensive than this big guy. That is on my wish list. I don't know if I'll ever get it, because I do actually have multi-chromes through other indie brands, through other of my palettes. So I don't technically, do I need any of this? No, but I thought I'd talk about what's on my wish list. Okay, then I have the Noctilucent highlighter palette. I've heard nothing but good things about that highlighter palette. And I also have the blush palettes. Blend Bunny came out with blush palettes last year, and they looked gorgeous. The thing is about this highlighter palette and these blush palettes, I'm not usually a huge face palette user. They just get lost in my brain. Like, I remember to use my blush singles and my highlighter singles, but like my blush palettes, I forget about them. So that is one of the reasons that they're on this wish list, and I haven't bought them because I'm trying to have this wish list to think about these things and not just over purchase them and buy them and be like, yeah, I have them, because I'm trying to think, hey, do you actually need this? Will you actually use this? Will this be something that you treasure in your collection? Like I treasured this. Then lastly, the last eyeshadow palette from Blend Bunny is the Sickly Sweet palette. It was a Halloween palette that came out. I guess I can put them up here. It was a Halloween palette that came out, and it was really cool. I thought it was really awesome because it was pastels, but there was also these like deep dark colors. And so when you mix them together, you could get a really fun look. And I have pastel palettes, but none of them come with dark colors. Not that I need dark colors because like I can just go into another palette and get dark colors. But when I'm doing my makeup, I usually like to use one palette. It's just something about having it all there in one palette is nice. Although that palette kind of threw people off because it was the only time that she didn't organize her palettes by like color rows. She made it crazy because it was supposed to be like a bag of candy. I thought it was great. I loved it. Okay, what else is on my list? The Charlotte Tilbury light wands, the contour one, and I actually have a mini blush one and a mini highlighter one. So it's really just like it'd be nice if I could get like Charlotte Tilbury came out with new blush ones that were matte. So I'd like to try one of the matte ones, and I'd like to try the contour one. I don't have it. I've never had it, and they went viral last year. So it'd be fun to get. Okay, Cosmic Brushes, which I hear now is Cosmic Beauty. They have a palette called the Muse palette. My husband did purchase me because for Christmas, it was Christmas, he got me the Winter Wonderland palette. So I did get this one and the Gothic one for Christmas. So I got these two. But I was trying not to push my luck and be like, okay, also get me the Muse palette, because actually during that time the Muse palette came out too. But it just looks so close to the original one. What was the original one called? The Serenity. I felt like the Serenity and the Muse one look very similar. So that's why it's on this wish list, because I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, do I need the Muse palette if I have the Serenity palette? And here, I'm talking about this on my YouTube channel so that you guys can like let me know. What do you guys think? Do you guys have both? Do I need both? Let's talk about this in the comments. Give Me Glow Cosmetics. They have some fun palettes. They had a Juicy Blueberry palette came out that I was like, oh, that looks awesome. It was really pretty. It was like purples and yellows, and purples are really good with my green eyes. I like them. And they also had a Haunted Pumpkin palette came out, and I believe that was actually Halloween. It actually came out after Halloween. It was after Halloween 2022. And so I was like, in 2022, I was like, oh, I'll get it next year, 2023. Well, it was my no buy year. So those are on my wish list. Lemonade Cosmetics. The Sugar and Spice palette, which I believe is gone. I believe you can't even get it anymore, which is these indie brands. They have these palettes and then they leave. And I'm like, no, I still want it. Also, there's another palette from Lemonade. The Rich Romantic palette. That one is going out of stock right now. So I am tempted to buy that one. Milk Cosmetics has the Morte palette. That is, they used to have like they're the Death and Life palettes, and they originally sold both of them, but right now they're only selling the Murte one. And I think it is because that one was the more popular one, and I never had either of them. And it was like one of those palettes that everybody was like, bring it back, don't discontinue this palette, it's so amazing. And now it's back. And I'm like, well, this is on my wish list. Shroud Cosmetics. I have gotten the Batty Beans, both her collaborations with Shroud Cosmetics for Halloween, and I loved them. So they came out with the Peaches and Dreams palette. I think it was like last spring. It looked gorgeous, gorgeous. They also came out with the Moonfall palette, which was originally they had like single shades that they put into a palette, which I like that. I don't like single shades. I never remember to use them. So I thought that one was fun. And then there was a Dark Academia palette. I haven't heard a lot about that one, but it looks gorgeous. And I think it came out like in fall time. I think it was even like after Halloween. Sugar Drizzle. I have like 5 palettes from Sugar Drizzle that I want to try out. In my collection right now, I own 2 palettes from Sugar Drizzle, and I like them. They're good. They're similar to It's Belle Cosmetics in like the consistency of how like emollient the shadows are. So I'd like to try out more from Sugar Drizzle. So here's just some random palettes that are on their website that I was like, those are fun. There's like the Trashed Panda palette and the Plumeria Dragon palette. There's a matte palette. It's like an all matte palette, but it's interesting because it's like 95% purple and a little bit teal. And I don't know if I need that, but it's on the list, you know? The Man I Love Frogs palette. That one's really pretty. It's purple and green. Just funny because I don't super love green, but I'm trying to get myself to love green. There's a Kitty Pizza palette, which I just thought was super fun. Unearthly Cosmetics has a Dreamer palette. Okay, this one is on there as like some of these are still on here because I need to think about them. The Dreamer palette is very cool toned. And do I need a cool tone palette in my life? Not really. I don't actually usually like wearing cool tones. I don't know why. I have no explanation. I don't, why am I like this? I don't know because I don't really like green eyeshadow either. And I swear the biggest trends right now are green eyeshadow and cool tone eyeshadow. And they're the two that I don't like the most. So I don't know why am I like this, but I'm trying to kind of come to like it more. Anyways, it's just every time I try it, I wear cool tone, and usually I just don't like it. Usually I feel like it makes me look like I was like punched in the face. And so I don't like that. Anyways, this is kind of a cool tone look. This is from the Natasha Denona, is it I Need a Nude palette that came out last year that I was able to get with a gift card. Anyways, it is, I think I had like an Ulta reward, so I got it for 100% free. Anyway, otherwise I wouldn't have got it because it's a cool tone palette. Anyways, it's on my wish list. The Dreamer palette, I don't know. We'll see. Then, last but not least, we have from What's Up Beauty. They have the Dragon Eye palette. Okay, I contemplated having my husband get me this one because it looked so so beautiful, and I love What's Up Beauty. They're kind of like a sweet, like the brand has actually been really sweet with me. They've like commented on some of my videos, and I was like, wow, that's so nice. So it makes me want to support them even more. But I have their other two palettes, and this new Dragon's Eye palette came out, and they had a cool little like, hey, you can get a bundle of all three palettes, and it was like $100 for the bundle, but getting just Dragon's Eye alone was like $50, and I was like, that's like I already had the other two, so I was like, lame. So I don't have it yet. Maybe I'm kind of waiting for them to come out with another one, and then they'll bundle those two together. I don't know. These are on my wish list for a reason because I like to wait until there's a sale to buy things that are on my wish list, and to also think about it and be like, hey, do I really need this? Do I really need to purchase this? Especially not right now. Like I don't really need to be like, I need it now. Because I don't need it now. I have tons of makeup. But like these are on the wish list because they are being contemplated. What do you guys think? What do you think of my wish list? Okay, now let's go to brands that I would like to try this year. Here's a caveat. Some of these brands, so these brands, there's certain palettes that I want on there that are also on my wish list. I just didn't mention them because I didn't want I wanted to talk about the brands at this time. Okay, so these are brands that I want to try out in 2024, and I've never tried anything from these brands before. Okay, I think that makes sense. I'm going to start with like the ones I want to try out the most, and then go from there. So Ensley Rain Cosmetics, that brand, I feel like it got like I just started hearing about it in 2023, and the palettes are stunning. I've seen content creators swatch the palettes and they just look mouthwatering. They're so great. So expensive. And I know why. It's because they're pretty big. They're pretty big palettes that have multi-chromes and dual chromes, and they're just extravagant formula here. So that is why they're pricey. Oh, they are pricey for a reason. So let me talk about the specific ones from Ensley Rain that are on my wish list. I have the Harvest Moon palette. That one came out in the fall time. Had some beautiful harvest shades. There is the Lands of Enchantment palette. That one is really, I think it's like $100 for that palette. And then there's like shipping and so expensive. Lastly, from that brand is the Cold Moon palette. And that one is, as it sounds like, it is a cold, a more of a cool color story. So that one, I don't know. We'll see. If I actually did make a purchase from them, and so I was buying, spending like hundreds of dollars from them, it would be, I would probably just get it because then I wouldn't want to pay shipping twice. But I don't know. Okay, So another brand that I want to try is Diavaroon Cosmetics. I might be saying that 100% wrong, but this brand came out last year. I believe the owner of the brand is like a content creator or worked for a different brand. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but it was the Moth and the Moon palette. Looked gorgeous. Looked stunning. Moira Cosmetics. Okay. This brand, I had heard about this brand in 2022, but I think it just blew up all over TikTok this year. And it's a well-priced brand. It is, I've heard that people say it's like the new BH Cosmetics, and it's like this brand that everybody's getting from. And the problem that I have with it is that I guess it's not really that big of a problem. The only way I can purchase it is through actually going to MoiraCosmetics.com, which is fine. It's fine, but sometimes I like picking up a thing here or there from like Ulta or Sephora and like trying it out, or even in like a drugstore, like if it, because it is a drugstore brand. And if they had, I guess it's not in any of my drugstores, but if I could go to a drugstore and like pick up one or two things, that would be really convenient. But because I can only get it from Moira Cosmetics, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, then I need to purchase like a whole face of cosmetics from that brand so that it is worth the like the shipping and the time to pick everything out, and it's worth it. And so part of me is like, Bianca, you don't need to do that. Like, you don't need to buy an entire face of Moira Cosmetics. So it's a brand I want to try out, but I'm trying to get my head around it. Like, can I just pick up one or two things and like maybe watch people's videos of their like, what are their favorite things from Moira Cosmetics? What are you guys' favorite things from Moira Cosmetics? Have you heard of this brand? And I'm trying to, I guess, wrap my brain around just like getting like a blush and a highlighter or something like that. Or like, they do have a lot of single shadows. Like, they'll have like the single liquid shadows and single eyeshadow pots. And I have found that those don't do well in my makeup life. Like, I don't remember to use singles. And so, I don't know. Advice on Moira. Then we have Artitude Cosmetics. They had a fun palette come out. I think it was around fall time. It was the Abscission palette. Abscission. Yeah, I think that's it. And that looked gorgeous. I actually I like looked at, because they had a little bit of a sale during Black Friday. And so I was doing a little window shopping. And so I put like the palette in the, like, I pretend purchased it to see like how much the price would go off of it for having it during the sale. And it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a huge sale, and there was a lot of like shipping and taxes and fees. And I was like, oh, this will be a obviously I wasn't purchasing anything, but I was like, this will definitely be a 2024 purchase. But there's also a man-eater palette, and they also have some really pretty like holographic highlighters that look really pretty. So yeah, fun. Phytosurgeons. This is a brand, I think it's a really like clean brand. They have blush. They have other things, but it's the blushes I'm really interested in. And I believe it's a Canadian brand, I think. I don't know. And I'm interested in trying out some of the face products from them. I don't want this to be a 100% eyeshadow palette. Me telling you what eyeshadow palettes I want to try in 2024. It's not, that's not it. That's not it. So I wanted to talk about, there's some blushes from Phytosurgeons. There is, from Moira, basically the entire brand. A lot of these are specifically eyeshadows, but not in general. Okay, so I think I've talked a lot about indie brands. Let's talk about a mainstream brand that I have not really tried out. Makeup by Mario. I have one thing from Makeup by Mario. It is this eyeshadow primer. That's all I have, an eyeshadow primer. And it's pretty good. They have like blushes and highlighters and bronzers and a lot of things that people really like. And this brand came out, and I think it was in 2022. And it's in Sephora, so it's a pretty pricey brand. And I was like, I can't purchase all of that stuff. So I just kind of did it. And it's a brand that I'd like to try one or two things from. They did come out with that palette that everybody went crazy over. It was a very cool color story. And it was not my jam. I feel like it looks exactly like this palette, the I Need a Nude from Natasha Denona. I feel like they look pretty identical. Anyways, so do I need that palette? No, but I would like to try out Makeup by Mario. So that is some of the brands that I want to try out this year. Are those all of them? No, there's still a huge list here, but I don't want this video to be 100 years long. And okay, one more. Let's talk about one more, okay? LH Cosmetics. I think it's Linda Hallberg's brand. I've heard content creators talk about LH Cosmetics and how those products are amazing. And I've looked and seen like these shimmer quads that look so pretty. So that's another brand I'd like to try out. I don't, that one is kind of indie, but I feel like it's not indie in the sense that like these ones that they don't have like tons of like multi-chromes, and it seems like more like a brand that will be in Sephora one day. Does that make sense? It does in my head. Those are the top however many brands. All right, there is what is left on my 2023 wish list. There and now what is on, I guess, my 2024 wish list. What do you guys think? What are some things like from these brands specifically that you think that I should try out so that I can maybe put them on my wish list? And what are some brands that you think that I haven't tried out that you think I should try out? Let me know in the comments. No guarantee I'll get them because none of these are guarantees, but I'll think about it and I'll look it up and see what I think. Because you guys have good ideas, you have good thoughts. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video, for getting this far, and I appreciate it. If you like this video, like this video. If you want to see more videos from me, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to be notified of my videos, push the bell. And most importantly, be nice to yourself because you're amazing. Have a great day. Bye.